Good morning. I'm Tammy Gingro with Body in Balance, here with another ancient tarot reading, ancient Egyptian tarot. This Tahote system is a holistic system. It takes into account astrology, astronomy, the ancient system of divination from China, the I Ching, which Richard Rood's work is based upon, the gene keys. It takes into account the Kabbalah, the tree of life, our energy body. It is a science in and of itself. I was never drawn to be a tarot reader until I came across the Crowley Book of Tahote. And I just love how we can ask for guidance from our higher self. This guidance isn't coming from an outside source. And I think that sometimes we give power to things where they don't belong. So I've drawn these cards in the exact energy of the Pluto-Sun conjunction, a Pluto Cazimi. It's where the sun literally entered the heart of Pluto in the final degrees, the pressure cooker exalted degrees of Aquarius. This is an oracle card from the book of Metatron that I drew to complement. And this is like, wow, the sun in the heart of Pluto. We do have a very fiery energy with this transit. Pluto is a 250-year cycle. It was in the sign of Capricorn for 15 years. Capricorn is our structures, top-down authority. The planet Saturn rules Capricorn. Capricorn is also the workers, the seagoat. We climb that, I say we because I am a Capricorn sun, but we climb that mountain and we do not stop. So we have a lot of Mars-like energy bringing action towards our long-term goals. So this reading is asking for the energies that will carry us for the next 20 years until 2024, when Pluto will move on from the sign of Aquarius and into Pisces. I thought of it like, it's almost like you lived in a house for 15 years and then you moved and you had to get rid of a bunch of stuff. Well, you just realized this stuff didn't serve you. So why would you bring it to the new house? So you get rid of a whole bunch of stuff. It feels amazing to actually purge all of that stuff. And now you're in this new house full of infinite possibilities. You've got to organize the stuff that you brought with you. You might still decide some of this doesn't fit in this new house. So we're in this intense period of reorganization right now, but it ought to be filled with optimism, tremendous optimism and empowerment. We're looking at the next 20 years, not in any way, shape, or form from the chaos that is being touted if you watch the news, but from a heart-centered place of empowerment. We are in the midst, we launched yesterday, Build 2024 Empowerment Series. And that is the energy, not only of Pluto moving into Aquarius, the energy of 2024, but it's also the energy of what am I building over the next 20 years? What are my long-term goals? This is empowerment and all of the tools needed to build the life of your dreams. No matter what age or stage of life we are in, we have the power to build the life that we dream of. We can build who we're becoming using the experience that we have. Again, no matter what age or stage you are, take the lessons and the nuggets and the all that you've learned, your wisdom, and then create, build what you're becoming and who you're becoming. So this is a Celtic cross. That's a 10-card draw. And when I do a Celtic cross, like if you were to schedule a personal reading with me and you asked for this Celtic cross, we would determine your significator, which is one of the 12 court cards that represent the astrological signs. And there's a system where I shuffle the cards and cut the cards multiple times. And then I intuitively discover which of those 3 piles that I end up with your significators in. If I'm incorrect, I will shuffle again. So the significator that we chose to represent Pluto is the Aeon. This is card number 20. There are 21 cards in the major arcana. So this is the ending of a cycle. And Crowley decided, this card used to be called Judgment. It was represented by an angel or a messenger. He was like the angel of death. He was seen blowing a trumpet. I wanted to say with a sword, but I knew that wasn't right. He was seen blowing a trumpet. Graves were opening and people were rising from the dead. And in order to preserve the traditions, we had to shatter that tradition. That's what Crowley thought. And that was really a picture of this vengeful God. And what we have here is the star goddess Nuith, the ancient star goddess, making a blanket over us. And this is where we see the night sky. And then her mate is Hadith. And Hadith is really just a ball of fiery energy. We have a lot of fiery energy right now. This represents the number 2. 20 boils down to the number 2. We've got 3 2s in this reading, 3 3s. 3s in this system represent Mars. So we've got a lot of Mars energy coming through. And the Aeon is what we're stepping into. We are literally, it's the greatest time of transformation in human history. So many star seeds and souls are awakening to remember that we are infinite beings. Many of us came to Earth from stars, from other planets, other galaxies even. And we've been asked to believe a lot of things that are entirely false and meant to keep us small, meant to keep us helpless, meant to keep us in fear. And I believe once we've raised our vibrational frequency enough that this new Earth paradigm, this new Aeon of Horus, this new age of Aquarius that we've all heard so much about from our wonderful musicians, is a real thing. And I believe we are, with this particular transit, being propelled further into the energies of the age of Aquarius, and that all we need is love. And when we are courageous enough to finally go deep inside, face our shadows, there is no thing to fear within you. Everything that you are going to discover is more beautiful and more powerful than you could have ever imagined. And we do sometimes fear our own power. And we've got to also, at this moment, we're gifted an incredible opportunity to further heal the masculine within us and the masculine, that false masculine patriarchy that has betrayed so very many people, so very many indigenous nations, cultures, communities, villages, grandmothers, wisdom keepers all over the world. We've got to restore that healthy balance of the divine feminine within. Embrace Mother God in our heart mind. Begin to make our decisions again from a heart-centered place, which includes and starts with relying on your own intuition to trust that these things are truth. There is plenty of science to back most of this up, but it's about stepping into trust. That's where empowerment really begins. We all have that small voice. We all have these ways that we hear, the voice of our own higher spirit and the voice of God, which are one and the same. as well as other connections that we have to ancestors, guardian angels, ascended masters, galactic guides, benevolent galactic guides. And we get these messages through our inner sight, our inner hearing, our inner knowing, that feeling in your gut that I just know, I don't need to know how I know. These are some of our psychic receptors. So it's time to trust our intuition, to empower ourselves to create the life that we dream of. So I'm going to plug our summit. We kicked it off yesterday with the amazing astrologer Sonja Francis. I'm going to include a 5-minute clip from our interview yesterday in the notes here. Please watch that 5-minute clip and then register for Build. It's free. And you will have 3 more live interviews with amazing, inspiring leaders in the world of personal and planetary transformation. So this Celtic cross, that first card is the basic energy. And we're using Pluto as that basic energy, which is represented by the Aeon. And by the way, I did that shuffling method. I chose the one of the 3 piles. I knew where it was energetically. I shuffled that pile again, and the Aeon came out in the first position. It's just amazing when we learn to trust our intuition, even little, seemingly little things like that, but it isn't little at all. It's amazing. And we literally want to we're creating a nurturing community where we will literally hold hands and rise together. One of the big Aquarian themes is collaboration. And there is another oracle that I drew from the, oh goodness, the name of this one is escaping me right now. It will come. It's an Alana Fairchild deck. Sacred, oh goodness gracious, it'll come. But this is collaborative dreaming, just a beautiful card. And this is what we're moving into. It's the spirit in which we launched the Build Who You're Becoming. So the second card is the card that furthers or crosses the basic energy. And here we have the 3 of Pentacles. Pentacles represent the suit of Earth. As I mentioned, the number 3 represents Mars. The discs is the Earth element represents Mars in Capricorn. As we already talked about, we have just transitioned out of Capricorn and into Aquarius. And Capricorn is the sign of the worker. We still have Mercury in Capricorn right now. Mercury might be all that's left in Capricorn right now. I have to double check on that since Pluto has moved out. And that's about our communication. And we are really and truly empowered right now collectively. There is a collective trend that has given us a burst. You know, we're coming out of a 3-year global reset, global retreat. We were all put on retreat for the first time in human history in 2020. No matter how it happened, why it happened, it happened. And we were all, I believe, I was in the caterpillar. I was in that cocoon. I was rebirthing. I was rebirthing again and again and again and again. Even in my business, I was attempting to decide what I was going to do with my next 50 years because I have an empty nest now. I've raised 4 amazing daughters, and transitioning from what I do in the brick and mortar world to sharing my gifts more fully and more openly to impact more people, to work with the technology, Aquarian themes that we have that enable us to create a global community. And I would write something one day and read it the next day and be like, who was that? Who wrote that? So now with that gestation period coming to an end, we're all now feeling this urge towards solidifying our long-term goals, getting a clear vision of who we're becoming, and then plotting those action steps, Mars, action steps. We're going to feel urgency. Sonja Francis, again, kicked us off yesterday. If you are in Build, if you will sign up for Build for free, you're going to get a free month in Sonja's Star membership, which includes her monthly 90-minute forecasting forum, which is an opportunity to sit in an intimate group, bring your birth chart, and ask questions. One of the big themes this year is a Mars-Uranus conjunction. So it's a really good idea before that to get your vision clear, to determine what it is you're building, what it is you're birthing, and who you're becoming, because Mars is going to ask us to do it now. We're going to feel like we want to do it now. So we want to get our ducks in a row right now. So this card specifically breaks down, it's a pyramid seen from above. Those 3 wheels represent all of the alchemical elements needed to build. This is called work. Capricorn is the sign of work and the worker. So it's the mercury, sulfur, and salt from an alchemical standpoint. In the Hindu, it's the, I want to make sure, I wanted to say tattvas, and I knew I had that wrong. It's the sattvas, the rajas, and the tamas. And in the elements, it's fire, air, and water. It's having everything you need, absolutely everything you need, the energy that you need, and letting this energy lie dormant can create literal problems in all areas of your life. So you want to be using the energy that's available to all of us to the fullest. Whatever you set your mind to, whatever we set our mind to. So if we determine, if the 60 of us that are in this build, or I think there's 80 of us now in this build, all determine that we're going to build the new earth, we will build it. We have the energy supporting us internally and externally to build it. What else did I write in my notes here? It represents the 3 mother letters of the Hebrew element. Again, bringing that divine mother, that divine feminine back into the heart mind of humans. It represents full employment of your energies in any situation which you feel obliged to undertake, but you are not obliged from an external force. This obligation only comes from within, and the combined balance yields visible results, tangible results. Clarity arises. The heavens open up, and you have the power to overcome obstacles. And this assures steady progress. The card in the 3rd position represents our conscious thoughts. By the way, these readings never cease to literally blow me away. We could not have a more beautiful energy in our conscious thoughts right now, because all we need is love. This war that we're still in, the war basically against the oppressors of humankind, will not be won with atom bombs, by blowing each other up, by hating and being angry. It will be won with love. When enough of us have the courage to transform our fears into love, we win. This is what Sekhmet represents. Sekhmet is the feminine face of the sun. She's in the heart of Pluto right now. Pluto is Osiris in shamanic Egyptian astrology. We're going to go deeper into these archetypes with Linda Starwolf on Tuesday, January 23rd at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. Linda Starwolf is supporting the Build Summit. If you don't know her, she was co-author of the Anubis Oracle, as well as 13 other books. This literally, no joke, crazy. I drew this card about 3 days before the Pluto Cazimi that we had yesterday. And I honestly forgot who Osiris represented in shamanic Egyptian astrology. I was about to reshuffle with the energy yesterday with this reading, and I opened up my shamanic Egyptian astrology book, and Osiris represents Pluto. So the energy of Osiris, Sekhmet right now, the sun is in the heart of Osiris. Sekhmet is the Osiris was Sekhmet's husband, her masculine counterpart. He was murdered by his brother Set and cut into 13 pieces. Set, I'm sorry, it's Isis. It's Isis, not Sekhmet, but Sekhmet does represent the feminine face of the sun, and Sekhmet and Isis are sister energies. They both represent Mother God, but it was Isis who, with her sister Nephthys and Anubis, collected those 13 pieces, and everywhere that they collected one, they erected an altar, which is how we got the pyramids and the sacred sites in Egypt. But it's that kind of love is my point. That kind of love, that kind of fierce, compassionate, unconditional love that we are embodying. And if we don't, it makes no sense. It's like we've got to make this shift into love. Nothing but love. There is nothing left but love. If you were to dissolve yourself right now, completely dissolve into the universe, into source, there is nothing left but love. So the Two of Cups. Cups is the water element. Venus is the number 2. I mentioned that we have 3 2s in this reading. The Aeon boils down to a 2. And we have 3 3s. Venus and Mars, another representation of divine feminine, divine masculine, and complete balance. And this is the energy that we are being gifted to heal and balance right now. The masculine and feminine within. Specifically, there's a call for us to heal our inner masculine. And yeah, I'm going to keep plugging the course. The VIPs in Build are gifted Sonja's Chiron in Aries Healing the Wounded Masculine webinar, an incredible tool to help you in this. But the symbolism of this card, the 2 fish entwined, the 2 cups being filled from the source. Look at that, pouring in and overflowing. It's time to pour into yourself the greatest love that you can fathom. Let me look at my notes. Venus in Cancer. She's very exalted in that sign, as Cancer represents the moon. It represents receptive love, happy relationships, healthy emotional exchanges. When you love yourself, you attract others. It represents the word and the will. We're going to hear this theme again later in our next major arcana card. We have 2 major arcana cards. We've already seen the Aeon, and the next one you'll be revealed later. And this is the first manifestation which refers to love. Cancer is the most receptive sign. Harmony of the masculine and feminine, complete joy, silent ecstasy. I have an affirmation for you with this card. It is, my readiness to receive love makes me attractive. You can write down these affirmations and repeat them daily. You will be amazed what happens if you will write intentions and affirmations and then work with them. That is how we build who we're becoming. That is one of the most basic, important, effectual tools that you can use. So you'll get a bunch of affirmations here if you want to write them down. My readiness to receive love makes me attractive. I am now ready to let into my life love relationships that fulfill me. Card in the 4th position, we have the 7 of Wands. 7s are Saturn. Saturn rules Capricorn. This is valor, and this represents Saturn in Leo. So we've got courage, daring, impact, taking risks. The masculine, warlike energy of Mars, combined with the daring lion, produces incredible force. The 6 wands in the background are united. The symbols represent energy united in a powerful energy united powerfully. I'm sorry, I did write down something that I wanted to see here, and it's not coming. Anyway, they're directing their energies towards the goal represented by that central staff. So when we unite towards a goal, we are unstoppable. And what I'm talking about is collective unity, what we're moving into. Unity paradigms. When we are united towards a common goal, we are unstoppable. This is how we build New Earth. This is how we step across the golden bridge together into New Earth, manifesting heaven on earth. Sevens represent choice and the experience that we have. So when you, as we talked about in the beginning, utilize your experience, your lessons as the fertilizer for what you're creating, we apply those lessons and we're able to take greater risks with greater awareness by applying our wisdom from our past experiences. It's time to stand firm, remain true to your own energy, trusting your intuition, even in the face of opposition. So even if things outside of you are asking you to question, trust your intuition. Go into stillness, quiet. Affirmation: I express my own reality openly and honestly. The card in the fifth position, which represents our past influences. Past influences. We have the Three of Swords, sorrow. You know, there is a lot of turmoil that in human history that can cause us to feel sorrowful. This represents Saturn in Libra. Worries, doubts, lack of clarity. These swords are out of harmony. Clarity has become clouded in a sea of sorrow. The energy has become diffused by clouds of fear, limiting the mind and the soul. So when we look at our past influences, many of us have held ourselves back with our limiting beliefs. So we're being asked in this reorganization, this reinvention of ourselves, this building the new earth, like we talked about, getting rid of the things that we're not going to take with us into the new house, if you will. It might be easier because it can be intimidating to dive into your shadow. But when you look at it like that, it makes a lot of sense, doesn't it? We've lived somewhere for 15 years. We've lived with Pluto, the sign of transformation, in Capricorn for 15 years. It's time to look at what we don't need anymore and be grateful, so grateful for the lessons that we learned individually and collectively, and take our experiences, leave the sorrow behind, stepping forward into the new house, the new earth, the new me that I'm building so that I can become who I am becoming, filled with power, and using that power for the collective good with love empowered. So let's see what else I had written here. The lessons that need to be learned. What is that word? It's a loud and clear call to resolve any negativity residual from the past so that you free yourself from the new. That loud and clear call to step out of any negativity, trust, and move forward into the new. The affirmation: every problem contains within itself its solution. So, past influences, look what we have taking us into the future. This is the energies moving us forward. It's been charging with my crystals. I'm holding some of the crystals that I've had charging with the cards. This is a sacred crystal. Infused crystals hold memories. We are crystalline beings. The crystals are in our water. We're 70 to 80% water. These crystals hold information. These are programmed with thousands and thousands of positive intentions and affirmations, and they're charging this message. We could not have a more brilliant and amazing, I could do a whole video on this card alone. This is the Ace of Pentacles. It is one of the absolute most fortuitous cards in the deck. Aces in this system, it's kind of like a deck of cards. You have your 1 through 10. We already talked about the suits. This is the earth element. This is material wealth, material possessions. The princess in this card has replaced the king, as she would in the matriarchal system. And the princess is basically sitting on a throne of that element. So this is like the throne of the princess. It literally means that the energy, it's like you were gestating, you were a baby, you were a fetus in your mother's womb. And no matter what your birth experience was like, I had a lot of trauma in mine, and it impacted me very negatively until I dealt with it intentionally. But this is like you were in the womb. Your mother and father were the prince and the princess, and they prayed for you, and they called in your soul, and they nurtured you in the womb. And when you were born, you already had an inheritance. You have every tool available to you, every resource, infinite possibilities, perfect fertilizer. Do you see all the wings, all the geometry in here? There are 6 wings surrounding this coin, this central coin. It's literally like heaven is coming down and opening and giving us the resources that we need to build who we're becoming, to build what it is we're birthing in the world. We are empowered to build. Let's see what I have written for this card. Okay. Inner and outer riches, great success, unification of body and soul, material and spirit, reconciliation of all opposites. We've already talked about masculine and feminine within, matter and spirit. That is about cleansing and detoxing your body, cleansing and detoxing your energy, so that your very own spirit can descend fully into your body. Fully integrated, spirit-filled humans. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. That's heaven on earth. Having all the resources, experiences, opportunities needed to deepen your roots so that you can soar to new heights. 7-pointed star, 2 pentangles in the center. That's the geometry in the center. Really a tremendous blessing. This represents initiation or entrance into the possibilities of our entrance into a new consciousness. Really incredible. I'm going to actually state that again. This is an initiation or an entrance. Could we ask for anything more as we are entering the age of Aquarius? This is like the golden carpet. It's a little next level than the red carpet. And also represents a readiness for a life that is internally and externally rich. Wealth, new levels of being are continually being reached, discovered, accepted, and integrated. And this leads to spirit descending into matter. We already talked about that. Your very own spirit fully integrating into this human body. Real success. It's one of the most positive cards in the deck, along with the sun. Ace of Pentacles, energy carrying us into this age of Aquarius. Okay. Next, we have the card in the 7th position, which represents us. If it was a personal reading, it would represent you. It represents now the collective. And, excuse me, in this position, we have our first number 4. So far, we've had 1, 2, 3, and now 4. Quite a progression. We did have a 7 thrown in there, but The progression is incredible. 1, 2, 3, 4. We're also in our third. No, we've got all 4 suits now represented as well. Very balanced reading. This is our first card in the swords, the air element. The number 4 represents a very stable foundation, real energy moving forward towards manifestation, right? We learned in the number 2 that that's the first idea of the manifestation of love in the case of the number 2. This card represents Jupiter in Libra, calm, centered clarity, with which to create and build. Spiritual cleansing. We already talked about that with the number 1, how that's important. Expansion. 4 swords of equal strength meeting in the center of this full-blown rose of recognition. The rose is a very powerful alchemical symbol. It's hard to make out the rose in the center there, but look at all the energy in the background. This is incredible. Worries have been conquered. The clarity of the swords regained. This yellow-green color represents the new ideas of springtime. It's the perfect atmosphere for this rose of recognition to bloom fully. And expand. Jupiter carries with it joy and expansion. And whatever has seemed hopeless until now contains within itself the solution for a fortuitous and prosperous outcome. Do you see how the themes are repeating and growing and expanding and supporting, just as we are doing this year, 2024? Let's see, blah, blah, blah. It contains within itself the solution for a fortuitous and prosperous outcome, complete inner unification, integration of body, mind, spirit, and emotions. And your affirmation, I have enough inner clarity to successfully carry out my plans, and I am at peace within myself. Please use these affirmations. I want to say that one again. I have enough inner clarity to successfully carry out my plans, and I am at peace within myself. The card in the 8th position. We have 10 cards, so we're getting there. Hang with me, please. This card, again, it's amazing. We have our second major arcana, our second number 1, which represents these new beginnings. It is the Magus, the magician. Look at him. Incredible winged figure balancing on a surfboard. He has wings on his feet like Mercury, the messenger god. He has wings above his head. You know, I just noticed for the first time and it's amazing to me, we have 2 1s. And if you look, we have a similar pattern of those 6 wings. They're fanning out in a different shape behind the magician. He's also playfully and effortlessly juggling all the tools of communication. So just like that energy of the Ace of Pentacles, we now see it embodied in an archetype. We are magical beings. Are you by any chance fascinated with Arthur, Merlin and Arthur? It's one of the greatest representations of how people were killed for being magical, killed because of their magical abilities. We are all magical beings. Our manifestation begins in our thoughts. We've got to fertilize it with the fuel of our emotions. We've got to feel what it feels like to be already the person we're becoming, who we're becoming, to be living in those new earth paradigms, having created what you had set out to create. I have some drawings under my altar table right now of a holistic integrative wellness and retreat center that will be built in our new aeon at Venus Rising regenerative community. This is one of the things I'm building. I'm building it with star wolf in some capacity because I became a shamanic minister through Venus Rising Center for Transformation so that we could have nonprofit church status to build this retreat center. So I'm just giving you an example. I can see myself. I can feel the earth under my feet where we're building our community. We have not acquired this land yet in this present now moment, but I can feel it under my feet. I can see myself standing in the Zen dome, this incredible glass dome with the 7 stained glass chakras going from east to west, every color of light, every fractal frequency of light dancing through the space. This is what is required to build these kind of things in the world. And the magician is telling us, telling you, telling me that every tool is available. We can juggle it playfully, and we can choose which one best serves us in the present moment. We have everything we need to successfully carry out our goals and ambitions. Now let me read the notes that I took, because I don't want to, I take notes because you can see I tend to get into the energy. This is Mercury, communication, playfully dealing with all possible forms of communication, flexibility, brilliance. Flexibility is important when we're creating. We can't be too rigid or too fixed on an outcome. We have to allow for magic that is greater than ourselves, the magic of the universe and the infinite possibilities of the universe. And that trust that when we ask, our words are powerful. What you put out there is powerful. The universe conspires to deliver. This card represents, once again, repeating the theme from the 2 of Cups. That is the word and the will manifested as love. This card represents the word. This card represents the wisdom and the word. The will, the wisdom, and the word through which the world was created. The will, the wisdom, and the word. The will, the wisdom, and the word from which the world was created, right? The earth was apparently spoken into being with a word. You have that same power. He balances with great skill on the tip of that surfboard, juggling all the tools. 2 serpents at his head represent the ancient Egyptian symbols for manifestation, the caduceus, the symbols for balance and regeneration. The caduceus is used in even the medical with the central staff, and the 2 serpents are kundalini energy, our Ida and our Pingala, our creative energy, our creative life force. I did want to read for you from this book. Hold on one second. Let me see what else I wrote here. He receives inspiration from the soul of the universe. He cannot fulfill his tasks without remaining in constant touch with his highest self. The time is now to fully integrate your spirit into your human form. This recognition causes him to bear clarifying light into the darkness. This recognition causes him, okay, so it's in another place where I talked about, that'll come later. Before I read these affirmations, I did want to read the specific meaning of each of these tools that he is juggling. Give me just a moment. And I need my glasses. Okay, so he's juggling coins. That's the pentacles, which means body, matter, finance, fire, inspiration, transformation, dynamics, wand, philosophy, religion, spirituality, arrow, representing swords, directness, honesty, purposefulness, a scroll, writing and publications, a winged egg representing extrasensory perception and telepathy, a cup with a snake, emotions, relationships, sexuality, and a sword, intellect, logical analysis. So those are the tools that are at our disposal. Okay, moving on to the affirmations with this card. I have at my disposal brilliant capabilities which I share unapologetically. I have at my disposal brilliant capabilities which I share unapologetically. And the full expression of my creative potential fulfills me, makes me happy and satiated. Okay, the card in the ninth position represents our hopes and our fears. Um, this is in the same energy as that card that was in our past influence, the Three of Swords. That was the mental realms, the swords. Here we have the Eight of Cups, the water element, indolence. This represents Saturn and Pisces, stagnation, indolence, emotional blockage. This water stands not renewed by any spring. This card is reminding us not to waste our energy on people or situations who do not fill your cup. Stop wasting your time in unhealthy codependent relationships. If you're investing in people who suck you dry, it's time to say so long. I wish you well. Send them love, a little ho'oponopono. I love you. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. Thank you for the lessons learned. Move on to mutually fulfilling relationships and situations. You are the magician. Call in those magnetic relationships. Love yourself. Fill your own cup, making you attractive for healthy, mutually fulfilling, mutually respect relationships. Activate your imaginal cells. Don't cut yourself off from the spring that is source. We have an eternal, ceaseless source of light filling us from the star goddess Nuith, from Sirius, Sotis, our grandmothers in the stars. We have this infinite love pouring into us. The only thing that can cut you off from it is to become emotionally stagnant. Decide that you will no longer continue to spill your energy into a bottomless barrel or person or situation that causes you to feel sucked dry. Self-care is not selfish. It is the most selfless thing that you can do. You have so much more value to offer your relationships, your career, your life. We must recognize when it is not worth it to try to revitalize what has expired, this clearing out, this not bringing that stagnant bottomless barrel into our new house. So let go of what is worn out. It is time. Set some limits, set some boundaries, healthy boundaries, and say yes to yourself. It might be an old behavior pattern. It's time to disrupt those old patterns. We can't take them into the new aeon. You'll be left behind if we aren't willing to disrupt our old destructive patterns, so that we can build who we are becoming. Okay, this brings us to our final card. The card in the 10th position, which is the final outcome. We have our third two in the reading, the Two of Swords, peace. It is time for heaven on earth. It is time for all of us to claim inner peace, stillness. This card represents the moon in Libra. The moon is very exalted in the balanced sign of Libra. Power to make decisions from that place of inner peace. No second guessing. Two swords, cross, indicating a readiness for love and realization instead of struggle. Deep spiritual peace fertilizes those Mars energies of reorganization and reinvention. Make decisions. Oh, good God, sometimes I can't read my own writing. Intuitively. Make decisions intuitively. with ease, no second guessing. Inspiration and ideas that come now are worthy of your time and attention. Take time to relax, examine past, present, future. Take a good look. What areas of your life are ready for greater fulfillment? You can now clearly and calmly chart your course of action to build who you are becoming, to birth what you are here, your unique soul's purpose. There is something that only you can do. You're the key, and the world needs your light and your brilliance right now. It may have been a dark night, but now we have brighter torches and more torch bearers. Shine your light, unveil your radiance. The world needs you. Calm, clear, brilliant, fully integrated, spirit-filled human taking action, empowered with love to create heaven on earth, to become the best version of yourself. Your final affirmation for the next 20 years. Deep peace fills my heart. May you be filled with peace, love, and joy. And register for Build. Please, you will not regret it. Blessings and love, beautiful beings. Namaste. Please share this video, subscribe to our channel, help us to grow together. Lots and lots of love.